All right. So after we've taken our chapter 16, section 3 quiz, for those of you that are out there virtually, we're going to start in on chapter 16, section 4, the rise of the Incan Empire. All right. So some of the main things, again, we got to kind of look at, just like we talked about with the Mayans and the Aztec, are how the Incans came to power, how they were a major group. They're going to be located in South America, so all the way down, mainly along the Andes Mountains, along the western coast of South America. So the idea of how they rise to power, the idea of what was their government like, what was their religion like, and then the idea of how they fell, what turned into the discord, what turned into the reason why the Incans aren't the powerful empire. But the same thing, like we looked at other empires before, say like the Romans. We'll talk about some different civilizations here in a second. This one actually became the largest and most powerful empire in all of the Western Hemisphere, okay, during that time. So then you kind of think back, you're like, well, we're used to, say, Brazil, or with the United States or Canada, Mexico, other nations that are there. But there's a difference in between that nation that has states and has countries in it, in between a vast, large empire that has grown there. Okay, so it says the Incas built a vast empire supported by taxes, governed by bureaucracy, and linked by extensive road systems. So there was a strong network of trade. It says while the Aztecs ruled in the Valley of Mexico, another people, the Inca, created an equally powerful state in South America. From Cusco, their capital, and southern Peru, the Incans spread outward in all directions. They bought and brought various Andean peoples under their control and built an empire that stretched from Ecuador and northern Chile in the south all the way down to the south. It was the largest empire ever seen in the Americas. So we kind of start talking about, what does it take to have a strong empire? What does it take to have a strong civilization? What does it take to actually work together? So in early times, we discussed the idea of civilizations, the Indus River Valley civilization, the Nile River Valley civilization, Mesopotamia. Then we spread to the Romans, to the Greeks, the Europeans, and then we're going to slide over to the Western Hemisphere. And we kind of start looking at some of the things that make a good civilization. All right. The last class, they came up with a list of certain things. Again, this will be backwards for you, but I'll read it out there. The idea of trade was key. The Incans are going to have a strong network of trade. They're going to have a strong road system that's built so they can get from place to place, and it's a constant flow and travel of. So that's a big idea for civilizations. There needs to be a government, or at least someone major in power, so then that way there is a lead and there is a direction for the people to go. They need to have laws. We saw anything, from Hammurabi's code to the multiple Roman laws. There has to be a if this, then that type deal. So that way civilizations continue to function. There has to be a social class or an economic class. There has to be an understanding that there could possibly be lower class, there could be middle class, there could be upper class, and everybody has a fit in the system. Okay, in order for the system to succeed, you want to strive to get better, but everybody has to have an understanding that if you are in the middle class, there's nothing wrong with that. You are a major contributing factor to the rise of the civilization. Buildings and main buildings. So there needs to be an infrastructure. There has to be something that has to do with a town hall. There has to be something that has to do with churches, with hospital type deals in current day times, maybe a school or a university. But there has to be something that you can surround yourself with, and there's a main structure of buildings. Language and writing was really big, okay? Because it goes with trade, it goes with government, it goes with social classes, it goes with all. If you can speak the same language, if you can write the same language, if you can all communicate in whatever language it is, but if everybody is in the same path, then it's a whole lot easier for that civilization to grow fast. Now, in today's terms, like me, I can grab my phone. And I've had some other kids in class before, that didn't speak English, whether they were from Asia, whether they were from India, whether they were from Mexico, wherever they were from. I was able to use Google Translate, hit the microphone, say what I wanted to say, and then it read it back to them in the native language. Okay. So there's ways around it today, but back then it was so much easier. If they had the same writing, they could understand it. They had the same language, they could understand it. An army is big because you need some form of military, you need some form of protection that goes through there. So then that way, those people can prevent the outsiders from coming in, destroying your civilization, having to start all over again. That also goes in with the social classes, okay, of where they fit. Another big thing is some form of hope of an afterlife, hope after your life is done with, whether it be the same religion, whether it be multiple gods, as long as it is something that gives you the vigor to wake up each day and understand that whatever I'm doing for that day, there's a purpose, there's a driven factor, there's something else bigger than what's going on right now to kind of give you the idea of what you need in the end. Okay. On the board here, and what you need to do, some of you have already started this, you've broken down into 3 columns the idea of history, government, and religion. Okay. And that's what the main focus of this section is going to be about, the idea of history, government, and religion. So the Incan civilization on page 459 in section 4, the first red section starts out with the idea of history. So something to help you kind of build into what you're looking for. Build on the culture of the Chavín, the Moche, and the Nazca. It established the kingdom by the year 1200. The next red subheading goes into government. It says controlled most economic activity. It imposed a single language, like we were talking about here with a successful civilization. And then the last one is the idea of religion. Creator of a sun god, most important. Cusco was the religious capital. So again, there was a main building, there was a main place, there was a main government. A lot of these things are going to fall within the major ideas of civilization. All right. So what you're going to do today off of that is you're going to take the 3 subheadings, which again are history, government, religion. That first red part is about history. The second red part is about religion. Government. The third red part is about religion to the end of the fall of the Incas. Okay. What I want you to do is take these 2 bullets, add 4 more to the history column from that first red subheading. Add 4 more to government and add 4 more to religion. Again, sometimes you have longer history notes you got to take. Sometimes you got shorter one, like the other day. We did like 10, 10, and 7. This one's just 12 total. Okay, you're doing 4 apiece on each one of those red subheadings that's there. The key things that you need to look at are listed right here on the board. So you can make sure that you have those 5 things highlighted in your notes. So then that way you're good to go whenever we take a quiz tomorrow. When you walk into class tomorrow, you'll take your section 4 quiz. That'll be your last daily grade for the week on that one. As soon as we pop that out, then we'll start watching History of Mankind. I will post a review for chapter 16 test on it. We'll take it on Tuesday of next week. Okay, so you'll have a review posted tomorrow. I'll tell you exactly where it's at. It's probably gonna be in discussions, and I'll just lock down the discussion deal, but you'll have it posted to where you can see it for your test review. And we'll watch History of Mankind after we get through taking chapter 16, section 4 quiz tomorrow. Okay, so red subheading 1, history, add 4 bullets. Subheading 2 is government, red 4 bullets. Religion's the last part, add 4 bullets. Check your key points to make sure you're clean on those in your notes. Okay, anybody have any questions? We're good to go. All right, add them to your notes then.